couple days ago, I started looking in how I could integrate this IKEA lampshade, which goes on the swing arm lamps, the cheap ones, how I could integrate a Philips Hue light strip that I had secondhand. And I wanted to spiral it around the inside, which I thought was kind of a clever idea and would give me some indirect lighting that I could set up for in front and above of me. The problem is that these strips like to bend this way, and we can do these kind of curves, but for us to try and curve that way, they don't have a lot of give in that direction. I know there are some other versions of these light strips. I think they're called shape lights, which do have like full XYZ turning, but it wasn't really the right thing for this. And so after a couple of days of trying to think about how I could do the spiral in there, maybe replace this with a fully 3D printed version, I just wasn't happy with how any of it was going to turn out, and it was starting to consume more time and energy than I wanted to spend on it. So I've just gone and spent the money on the Philips Hue bulbs. Got a sale deal on them, and we're just gonna throw those in and have some better lighting here in a second. And would you look at that? We have better lighting. So now we're left with the question, what do we do with this? This is the old lamp that I was using. I don't want to just like throw it out. I want to do something with it. And I think what I'm going to do is turn it into a floating microphone stand, because this is what I'm using now. I've got my personal design 3D printed little tripod thing, and that's fine, but it takes up desk space. So I really like this for portability, but you know what? We can do better. But that's going to be a problem for a different episode, because this is still the how can we solve the problem of lighting, and all of that back there is going to be what we tackle next. And my weekend is starting, so let's see what we can do to make that better. So, it's a couple more days later, and I want to tackle the lighting in the hallway and behind me for the pictures. So, we're going to do that. I have these aluminum channels that I've purchased, and I have a little diffuser on them, which is really nice. And they do, if I take the silicone wrap off of the Philips Hue light strips, I can get them in there. So this is a design that I'd kind of played with, 3D printed parts that would kind of hold these at a sort of a weird corner angle. I thought, maybe I can like put this somewhere and it would like bloom onto the wall. Not kind of feeling that, so these are the one meter of aluminum rod and minimum 2 meter light strips. So I think we're going to do a 2 meter in the hallway, and then 3 meter across the back, and then probably either another 2 or 3 up this way. I haven't quite decided on that, but I need to design the parts to kind of hold the extrusions up there, and I need it to kind of compensate because I have the popcorn ceilings, which I can't get rid of because this is an apartment, and I would like it to hide the control box. This is what actually communicates with the Philips Hue unit. So I'd like a way to just kind of like maybe tuck that behind and just sort of like have some little black box that hides it instead of it being white. So let's take a look. So I had a couple designs that I've already kind of worked on here. This flat one is what I have used in my kitchen. Underneath the cabinets I have a run of lights, and that channel just kind of fits in there. I really don't want to mount like 2 screws per thing to get it at the 45s that I want, and I gotta do some kind of base back here. Like if I drill the hole and I do like the ceiling molly thing or whatever it's called, I think it should be fine. So duplicate the sketch over here. And see where we can get. One of the other issues that I've had is that this is just a little bit too tight. So we'll compensate that with making it a little bit bigger. So I'm thinking just straight up butting this onto the ceiling, not having any distance separation. And then the other thing I want to do is have a little thing in the center here. So that each channel can go into it by 10 millimeters, and it'll just kind of like stay centered between the bars. And then that needs to be printable. So that should do for that. And then around round that off there, round that one off. Probably could have done this a little bit cleaner, but as you will come to appreciate, I subscribe to the philosophy that the project needs to be done, the project doesn't need to be perfect. So that is all we're trying to accomplish with this. Get it done. I'd like to add the slight chamfers, just because it makes it a little bit softer to work with. I'll make a variant that I can use as an end cap here, so I can still mount that in. I'm just going to opt to like mirror these in Prusa Slicer when I need to, depending on how I want to mount them exactly. It's a very like abstract thing to try and like make this look presentable, I guess. I don't know. Especially if we're like doing it off to the side. So stucco. I think what I'm going to do with that is just sort of give it that shouldn't be too bad to print. So let's print some of those out, and we'll go get this started installing, and we'll figure out the control boxes later. So, after several hours of work spread across the week, we have lighting, and it looks pretty good. You'll notice that we have control boxes up in the corner that are just hanging. I haven't done anything about that yet, but that is what I want to address real quick. I don't have the recording for it, but I came up with this design for the control boxes, and it has a lot of really cool features to it, which I'm really proud of how it turned out. So mounting it, if you want to just mount it in the center and feel like you're okay with it, you can do that. If you want to have it more secure, you can mount with 2 holes. This blocking portion is for getting our Philips Hue control box in there. So that can just slide in like that. And if you want to run the power wire back out, our power cord slots in, and you can run it out the same side that it comes in, which is a nice little feature. And if you want to run it out the other side, you might be thinking, oh, we've got a little slit here. Well, kind of. Actually doing something a little bit more clever than that, because I'm giving you the option of running it out the same side or the opposite side, because that's I want that option. So it does have the lid to it, and that can just slot in either way, and it just snaps on really easily like that. And so that's how it's gonna look mounted onto the ceiling. We have the open side where the cables are gonna come out, and we have a closed side. And you can just pull it off. It's not too firm. So, let's say you want cables come out this side. There's a couple indentations already, and so the way I've gotten this to work is that about 4 millimeters down, there's a little break-off point, so we can break off. Yep. It's not perfect, so I'm going to tweak that before shipping that. But ideally, you'd have a little break point right there. So if you just want to run a little bit of the wire, you can. But what's actually working is we can pull that whole slot out like that, and then we have loads of cable running room. So again, we can just pull that in and find our end, and that's how we would go and power our lane. There is room up here, and there's extra room. So the other clever little feature that I put into this is, see, I've got little holes right in here. That is so you can slot in a zip tie, and now you can do cable management inside a tiny little box. You have the anchor point for that. I thought about doing a little overloop, but that would have interfered with getting the control box in there in the first place. So going through, I think, gives us a little bit better option for handling that. So I am going to start installing these, and that'll be pretty much it. Again, that little breakaway piece, I'm going to have that fixed. Slight revision I got to make on that, but not a big deal. But the rest of it did come out really cleanly. So props to myself for getting that part of it right. You know, design is a process. We always get there in the end. And you have that keyed lid that just fits in, and it's going to leave it looking really clean. And popping that out is just pretty nice and easy. So I'm really happy with how this turns out. Has turned out. Yeah. So that's lighting. So I just want to hop in for a second here. This is our installation. We've got everything nicely in there and cable wound. I don't have this tensioned up there yet because I want to get the other one. So we've got 2 light strips. Another learning curve I had on these was that I really didn't need the little pokey part. Even with the popcorn ceiling, it's fine to just have a flat bottom. So that's getting removed off that design. And then this one is probably gonna go and hang out like that, and that should end up looking pretty decent once that one gets printed out. So for this at least, we'll go and throw on our cover, and snaps on. Good to go. So there you have it. Reasonably budget lighting that does a lot, and also gives you ambient lighting for your home. If you'd like to make your own, links are down below. And now, a word from our sponsor.
Hello, it is I, Business Raptor. If you enjoyed the video, please consider hitting like and subscribe. The items featured in this video are available through the links in the video description, whether you'd like to print your own or have them made for you. Source files and the sticker club is available through Patreon, linked below, which also helps us keep the lights on, the printers printing, and further videos to get produced. If you'd like to get in contact, I am usually available on Twitter. Thanks, have a good one.